Welcome and thank you for joining us for this edition of Momentum. I'm your host, Dr. James Warnock, and my first guest today is Dr. Davy Belk, who is Professor and Head of the Department of Aerospace Engineering. Davy, it's great to have you with me here today.
Well, it's great to be here, James.
And you're relatively new to the Bulldog family. This is your second semester here on campus with the Department of Aerospace Engineering. Tell me, what was life like before Mississippi State, and how did you end up here?
Well, I traveled quite a long road before I finally got here, but one of my stops along the way was at Mississippi State. About 30, going on 31 years ago now, I was here at Mississippi State getting my PhD. And the aerospace department was the best place, as far as I was concerned, in the world to come study computational fluid dynamics. And that brought me here then. It was the Air Force that sent me, though. And I really worked for the Air Force when I was here. I worked for the Air Force since 1978 and all the way up to 2014. And that was my life then. Started out as a researcher. Well, not really a researcher. I got to back up a little bit on that. I started out trying to actually make sure when you put a perfectly good weapon on a perfectly good plane that had never been together, that you didn't shoot yourself down with your weapon, that they would be compatible, that you could fly those things out and be able to understand that the loads from high-speed flight with something hanging under a wing wouldn't rip the wing off, that you could drop it and it would fall away instead of fly back up and hit the tail. Actually, I used to go around the country showing what we called the horror film, which was just everyday flight test in the life of people trying to do those sort of things before we had the sort of tools that we developed when I was here at Mississippi State.
I mean, that sounds like some pretty interesting work to have been involved with. And it sounds like you had a connection with Mississippi State as a graduate student before coming back. So what was it that really drew you to come back to the department? What were the things that you saw here that really made you think, this is where I want to be? It
is the place where I have been immersed in a research environment and working in the excitement of pushing ahead into new areas and doing things that are brand new. But we did some of that, a lot of that actually, in my job in the Air Force and research laboratory and things like that. What really brought me back to this environment is the chance to work with young people and to be able to pass that on to a next generation of both our undergraduate and graduate students. And it's tremendously fulfilling and exciting to see their excitement and to be able to work with them and go forward. And so I had retired from the Air Force, and some of the folks from way back when still remembered me when we had an opening for a department head here, and they convinced me to go ahead and throw my name in the hat, so to speak, and I'm just so happy and privileged to be here.
Now, you mentioned coming back and working with the students, working with young people. The department has probably two of the most prolific student design teams in the college. We have the Space Cowboys and we have Team Zipiter. Can you tell me a little bit about those two teams?
Yes, they're an inspiration for me and for a lot of kids around the country who go look at the websites or see the sort of accomplishments that they're making. Our Space Cowboys, our rocketry team, they have been involved in rocketry for quite a few years. I can't really name how many, but they've won first place in an international competition in the last competition they were in, and I believe that was the 2015. They, after that, decided that they would take a little bit off from competition and set their own goal, which was very exciting. They haven't gotten there yet. It's a real challenge, but they want to design, build, and fly a rocket that will go faster than 4 times the speed of sound.
That's quite an accomplishment.
It really is. If they can do it, that at least as far as we know, that will be the fastest rocket ever flown by a university team.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Really exciting news. I look forward to hearing more about their accomplishments. It's been great having you here with me today. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be with Dr. Dave Dampier.
When you're the best, everyone wants to see what you'll do next. At Mississippi State University, our team of world-class rocket engineers is venturing beyond boundaries, building rockets like none before. We're launching a new era of space exploration. We've developed cutting-edge technology that's helping us build a rocket that can travel at 4 times the speed of sound. Fast? Yes. But more importantly, revolutionary. For you and for a space program that produces many of the conveniences we enjoy today. We're shaping your life in ways you never dreamed. What's next? Watch us and see. What drives you? What pushes you forward? Is it an appetite to be the best or a calling to make a difference? For those of us here at Mississippi State University, it's both. We're designing a future where cutting-edge hybrid technology isn't imported from overseas, but exported from our own backyard. We're working toward a day when solutions to energy independence move at 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds and are as simple as charging a phone. A day when fuel economy and environmentally friendly are viewed as less of a compromise and look more like this. For us, turning heads in the auto industry is great, but living up to the hype is even better. That's because it's about more than simply envisioning the future. It's about getting there. And here at Mississippi State, we know just the ride to take.
Welcome back. My second guest today is Dr. Dave Dampier. He is the Center Director for the Distributed Analytic Security Institute. Dave, it's good to have you here.
Glad to be here.
And first of all, let me say congratulations on recently getting the Mary Lynn and Niles Mosley Endowed Chair in Cybersecurity.
Thank you very much.
Now, the Center, Darcy, as we call it, is a relatively new center.
It is.
On campus. How did that come about, and what was the history behind all of that?
Okay, well, we've been doing cybersecurity for a long time at Mississippi State, but we never could get to the point where we had enough manpower to do something really substantial. And I made the comment to the Vice President for Research that we needed to build manpower. We needed to build a force of people that could go after big grants. And so in 2014, he gave me permission to, actually 2013 I applied. We got the center created and I became the director in May of 2014. We eventually rose to having 17 full-time employees and about 25 part-time faculty working in the center and about 30 postdocs and graduate students.
That's fantastic.
Right.
Now, cybersecurity obviously is a very big topic in the news at the moment. What are some of the research that you guys are doing over there?
Okay, so we have we do a lot of malware identification, malware attribution work. The work that's going on looks at a piece of malware, determines how it manifests itself in memory, and tries to identify where it came from. Is it a nation state piece of malware? Was it developed by a particular person? That kind of thing. And so what we've discovered is that we can use the memory signatures of the malware to attribute it to a family of malware. And we've gotten great success at doing that. A lot of our other work, it takes advantage of the high performance computing capability that we have in building very large network graphs. And when I say very large, I mean billions, if not trillions of edges in the graph. And so we've got projects looking at analyzing those graphs at visualizing those graphs. And then we have one project that is generating graphs based on botnet activity. And so it's been very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds it. So if there's a high school student sitting at home or their parents or someone, and they think, well, this is a field that I really wanted to get into,
Right.
what would be the options for them coming to Mississippi State?
Okay. Well, currently, a person who wants to study cybersecurity, a young person can come and study in any one of 6 disciplines: computer science, computer engineering, electrical engineering, industrial engineering, software engineering, and information systems. And those degrees plans all lead into our cyber certificate program, and they're eligible for participation in our Cyber Core Scholarship program as well. That's not really a DASI thing, but it is my responsibility to run that. So I still do it, and we do it through DASI. Now, the other thing is we've always for the last 10 years had high school students working in our lab as well. And so we have high school students that expressed interest in coming, and we welcome them and can put them to work, quite frankly, and undergraduates as well. So we have regularly 10, 12, 15 undergraduate students working in the lab, as well as all the graduate students that we have.
Yeah, I think it's always important for undergraduate students to get that research experience while they're here. It really kind of complements the coursework they take in classes as part of their regular curriculum.
I believe that undergraduate education very soon will be like a high school diploma was years ago, where it was expected that everybody's going to get a high school diploma, and when you get that, you've succeeded. And I think very soon it's going to be the case that to even succeed, you're going to have a bachelor's degree of some kind.
Yeah.
And graduate education is going to be the thing that differentiates people in the job market.
Yeah, I think there's already studies that are showing that those kinds of trends as well. So just quickly, someone gets a degree, gets their certificate in cybersecurity.
Right.
What are the job options for those people?
Unlimited. The government right now has a requirement for over 2,000 cybersecurity engineers. They don't have anywhere near that number of students to fill them. In addition to that, corporate America has also started to hire cybersecurity people. Every organization now needs their own cybersecurity staff because it's a full-time job, keeping up with the security of your own systems, but not only that is the intelligence.
Dave, it's been great talking to you this afternoon. Thank you for joining us at home. Remember, you can always follow us on social media at MSU Engineering for all the latest news from the college.